A very good morning, everyone. My name is Konya, pairing roll number 82. We are group 9 and our assigned topic is on the Salient features of RUSA, that is Rashtriya, Uchchatar, Shiksha, Abhiyan. So the introduction and its background will be shared by me, objectives by Shamlin Home, components by Soleh Hirini, features by Sesutale, guiding principles by Rokoprezo, major impacts and targets by Ruth Yepto, financial outlay by Singapore Kaume, conclusions by Singlezo. Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, RUSA or National Higher Education Mission. We have 4 points here. The first one is success of RMSA and SSA. Okay, with the success of RMSA and SSA in the primary and secondary level in India, it led to an increased demand for higher education. So there was a need for concreted effort which would improve the quality and relevance of higher education. And the second point is centrally sponsored scheme, RUSA was launched. That's how a new centrally sponsored scheme for funding the state-level institution was proposed, called Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, was launched, and it is a holistic scheme of development for higher education in India. The third point is RUSA was launched in 2013. So, as said, it was launched in 2013 by the Ministry of Human Resource Development of India, covering the 12 and the 13 5-year plans. The fourth point is the funding is in the ratio of 90:10 and 65:35, which means the centrally funding is in the ratio of 90:10 for special category states, that is, it includes the northeastern states, Sikkim, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and 65/35% for the other states and union territories. The last point is point number 5. Funding from central ministry through the state government or union territories. Funding will flow through the central ministry and then again through the state government or union territories to the state higher education, and the allocation of fund under RUSA is based on well-defined norms and parameters. Thank you.
Hello Miss, hello everyone. I am Shamlin and my roll number is 81. Today I will be presenting on the objective of RUSA. Here, the main key or the main objective of RUSA is all about to improve, assist equity and quality in higher education, that is, in universities, colleges, and institutions at state level. The first objective of RUSA is it focused to improve the overall qualities of the state institution by adjusting the prescribed norms and standard, which means the rules and regulation are to be strictly followed in order to adopt accreditation, that is A grade or B grade, as it is mandatory for quality assurance of framework. The second objective is ASER's transformative reforms. ASER's transformative reforms are also being applied in the state higher education, that is mainly for planning and monitoring purposes. The RUSA, they also try to create a very well established facilities in an institutional structure at the state level, which is very much important for promoting or upgrading the autonomous of the state universities. The third objective is to ensure reformation of affiliation in examination system as well as in academic system. The fourth objective of RUSA is it ensures the quality faculty members in all the higher educational system, which means to provide well-trained faculty member in all the institution. And what important RUSA does is that they provide employment opportunity in all the state levels. The fifth objective of RUSA is they create an opportunity to the interested candidate for research in order to promote the higher education system. The sixth point of RUSA is they also try to achieve the target of higher enrollment, which means expanding institutional base. Expanding institutional base is another assist where it create additional institution or capacity in an institution, and it also enable to establish new institution which mainly target to achieve the higher enrollment. uh, Say for example, if the institution has earlier if the institution has 100 or 150 seats, it can be expand or it can be increased to 200 or 600 seats, 200 or 250 seats, so as to achieve the target of higher enrollment. The seventh point is another is they focus or they try to balance the regional imbalance. Say for example, in Nagaland we have four institute, and among four we only one institute has all the required facility equipment, as that we have discussed above, that is the assist equity and quality. So the students the majority of the students, they prefer to go for to opt for that particular institute which create insufficient of seats, as well as which leads the students to go out of state for further studies. So what RUSA does here is they try to balance the regional imbalance. Last but very important point, that is to improve the equity, which means no partialities in higher education system, but rather to provide opportunities to the ST, SCs, quota for educationally backward classes, and also promote inclusion of women, minorities, and even differently able person. This is all about the objective of RUSA. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Uchchatar, variant round number 18. Here today I'm going to discuss with you on the topic, the salient features of RUSA. The first point, which is coverage. In this coverage, the scheme only covers the government educational institution, ensuring conformity to prescribed norms and standards, adopting accreditation, assuring the framework through offering medical, agriculture, veterinary, etc. Here there are 306 state universities and above 8,500 colleges that can be covered by RUSA. Second point is prerequisite. In this feature, certain measures such as the institution should give their commitments to the state and thus the state to the central as well. Unless the commitment in the academic administration and governance reforms are fulfilled, it is thereby ascertained that the institution cannot avail the grant of RUSA. Third point is bottom-up approach. RUSA also follows a bottom-up approach for planning and budgeting. States and institutions are encouraged to undertake strategic thinking and planning, keeping future needs of the higher education in mind. Both the demand and the supply side challenge are required to be addressed by the SHEPS. Fourth point is an umbrella scheme. In umbrella scheme, they have two phases. The first phase is mission mode that would subsume other existing scheme in the higher sector. Two centrally sponsored scheme of model degree colleges and the submission on polytechnics are subsumed under RUSA. The second phase of RUSA is the scheme on university and colleges which potential for excellence administered by UGC have now been subsumed under RUSA. The fifth point is appraisals of state higher education plans. The funding to the states is made on the basis of critical appraisal of state higher education plans done by technical support group at the center. Here the prioritized components are jointly presented before the project approval board for approval. Next point is norm-based and outcome-dependent funding. All funding under the RUSA is norm-based and feature grants are performance-dependent. The central funding is strategic and based on SHEPS, which serve as a benchmark against with the performance of the state and its institution are granted. The funding for the future is decided on the basis of level of past achievement and utilization of funds submitted to MHRD. Next point is State Higher Education Councils. The State Higher Education Councils also play a vital feature in RUSA, which aids as the key institution at the state level to channelize resources.
Hello friends, my name is Uchchatar, roll number 19. I'll be presenting on guiding principles of RUSA.
Point number 1, focus on quality and research. Here it means all the states must ensure that all their institutions adopt NAAC accreditations as mandatory, and also where the state and institutions are expected to honestly declare their present status in this area and outline specific strategies for improvement, including the use of information and communication technologies. Point number 2, norm-based and outcome-dependent funding. Here the central funding is based on the institution performance and graded, and also for future funding is decided on the basis of past achievement. Point number 3, incentivizing and desincentivizing. Here RUSA is intended to make the scheme not only demand driven but also competitive. That is, state and institutions are encouraged to compete with each other in order to reap the benefit of competitions. Point number 4, apolitical decision making. Here, a teacher should not be interested or involved in politics, but rather be unbiased and free from prejudice and favoritism. In simple terms, teachers should be apolitical and act as professionally. Point number 5, autonomy. Here, the institution will have full liberty to plan specific intervention depending on their special needs and requirements. Point number 6, equity-based development. Here, any growth in the higher education sector must create equal opportunities for women, disadvantaged classes, and the differently abled, and also development must have a greater focus on serving the rural and
Hello everyone, my name is Ruth and my roll number is 78. Today I'll be speaking on the topic impacts and targets of RUSA.
Okay, so first the first point under this is RUSA seeks to increase the gross enrollment ratio of the country to 30% by 2020. So earlier when RUSA began, the gross enrollment ratio was 19.4%, and again during the first phase, the GER was found to be 25.2%. So at present, for the second phase, the target is to reach 30% by 2020. Point number 2, it also seeks to increase the spending on higher education by the state government. So under this scheme, RUSA is actually planning to encourage the state government to increase the funding that they are providing to the higher education. So this point number 2 is talking about this only. So under impact and target, the third point is in the second phase of RUSA. Okay, it's actually aiming to create 70 new model colleges and 8 new professional colleges. And also to promote quality education and excellence in 10 selected state universities and 70 autonomous colleges, and also to provide infrastructural support to 50 universities and 750 colleges. Okay, so the next one is improving equity in higher education by providing adequate opportunities to socially deprived communities, promote inclusion of women, minorities, SC, ST, OBCs, and differently abled persons. So this point is talking about giving equal opportunities to every community, every person who are eligible to attain higher education studies. So this point mainly excludes the Northeast region, because we all know that in Northeast region there is equal opportunities for everyone regardless of our community, our gender and caste.
Point number 5 is to identify and fill up the existing gap in higher education by augmenting and supporting the state government efforts. So here focusing on these two very words, existing gap. Okay, so in some institutions, there may be shortage of teachers or more faculty members are required, or there is not enough infrastructures to support the program that the institutes are carrying out. So all these reports will be assessed by RUSA so that a suitable finding will be provided. All right. Okay, so now the last point under this is to promote a spirit of healthy competition among states and institutions to excel in quality higher education, research, and innovation. Okay, so we all know that a healthy competition is necessary for a quality education. Without competition, there wouldn't be quality. There wouldn't be any quality. So this is all about this one, and RUSA's funding is result based. So that means that if the institution produce quality result, then there will definitely be more support from RUSA. Okay, so this is all about the impacts and targets of RUSA. Thank you all.
This is me, Singapore Kamai, row number 20. I'm gonna speak on a topic of RUSA's financial outlay and its role in Nagaland. Our financial outlay of rupees 7,100 crores has been earmarked for 3 years beginning 2017 to 2018 and 2019 to 2020. The funding would flow from the central ministry through the state government or union territories to the state higher councils before reaching the identified institutions. Role of RUSA in the state of Nagaland. The state of Nagaland joined RUSA on 24 October 2013 by committing to reform its higher education sector. Moving on to the implementation of RUSA in Nagaland, a review meeting for implementation of RUSA in the state of Nagaland was held recently in Kohima. Uchchatar, the Joint Secretary of Higher Education, appreciated the state of Nagaland for a successful implementation of RUSA under Phase 1. She announced that Union MHRD has already approved another additional professional college for Nagaland under RUSA Phase 2 and encouraged state governments to introduce multidisciplinary subjects to cater to the needs of the students. She also interacted with the principals of 15 government colleges to understand the difficulty, challenges and issues faced by the colleges of NAC accreditation. Professor Kumar also emphasized on high quality faculty to improve the quality of higher education and the need to encourage entrepreneurships in the colleges. This is in a nutshell the RUSA's funding overall and its implementation of RUSA's in the state of Nagaland. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Singlo Zinse and my roll number is 21. To conclude our group presentation, I would like to add some few lines. RUSA has its foundation on strategic development of higher education in India. It is a holistic scheme that has arose competition in the field of education. It focuses on increased enrollment ratio by enhancing quality education and providing infrastructural support to institutions. RUSA also ushers the states to reform or transform institutions in a maximum possible way. For example, upgradation of schools to colleges, colleges to universities, and creating autonomous universities as well. It also caters to the need of new opportunities like vocational education and researchers. Funds are granted for development of education systems so as to fill the gap in educational setup. In other words, it means a self-sufficient learning center where different courses are available within the state. RUSA also aims at giving equal treatment to all institutions and to bring them at par with the rest of the world. It emphasizes on equal and non-biased system of education. Thank you.